Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the OTF, automatic OTF version of the Chaves Handy Utility Blade, otherwise known as the Chub. That's pretty cool. This is a USA made item. I know right away people are going to click on that's the thing I have to complain about the price. I got to get in the comments and complain about the price tag because it's a utility blade and it's expensive. Okay, so everybody knows this. You can get less expensive versions of these style knives. They apparently they're on Amazon. They're made by random Chinese OEMs. Very low cost, low labor items that do exactly the same thing, and you can buy them for less. Yes, that is true of this knife and quite literally every other knife that is made in an area where the labor and manufacturing costs are high. That is true, right? But this one in particular gets a lot of because it is simply a utility blade, which is a thing that you can buy at Home Depot for $5. Every single person who purchases this knife is 100% aware of these facts. Not a single person who went to buy the USA-made automatic Chub for $250 not one of them is going to be like, do you mean to tell me that this whole time I could have the same level of utility from something that costs a third or a fifth or a tenth the price? You got to be kidding me. I thought this was the only way. No one is in need of education in that. The reason people want to buy something like this is, number one, it's pretty simple. A lot of people, myself included, like to support small shop American knife companies, right? And now Chaves has a lot of stuff that is made by Riyadh and is outsourced, in China to help get the costs down. They do some things made in the USA. And for some people, they're going to say, I'm going to go ahead and buy this thing that is very limited in terms of the amount of utility, but I like it and I like that it's made in the USA, so I'm willing to pay more. It is as simple as that. I'm sure that people will still aggressively miss what I'm trying to say here with this intro and go ahead and, down. And that's fine. You can do that. But I just want to make that clear before we talk about this because I like this object. I think it's really, really neat. Thanks so much to eKnives for loaning it to me for review. It will go back to eKnives when I'm done. I don't get to keep it, though. I am honestly just considering buying it because I really like this thing. It's awesome. And I think it's actually the best setup of any of these sort of modern, fun, fidgety utility blades, right? Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Does this have a quick release system? Yes, it does. You just push right here in the middle tab and pop, out it comes. God, why companies cannot figure out, these have become really popular. A lot of my brother-in-law, both of my brothers-in-law, both of them, and my best buddy actually carry folding, they're like titanium frame locks, but they have the utility blades and they love them, right? A couple of them have quick release systems and one of them I think doesn't. You have to use the screws. Why any company would do, you got to take 2 torque screws out or whatever to replace the blade. Why anybody does that is beyond me. It's insane. The quick release systems, especially like this, where you just push and it comes out, right? And then you push to let it come back in, there we go. And then it locks in and you're good to go, right? I'm not really worried about it coming loose because I'm probably not going to do anything super crazy, ultra heavy duty with this thing, right? This is the way it should be. The fact that it just comes in and out, it's the most convenient little edge. Oh my goodness. Let's do some size comparisons before I get lost in the sauce here. Actually, let's measure it because it's a short little chub. Overall length is 5 inches. Blade length, we can't really count it. Okay, from the tip of the the razor blade to the frame, it's about it's a little over 1.5 inches. The actual cutting edge length is just under 1 inch, but this is a utility blade. It is to be expected. And I think we should all remember that as much as I love carrying around big, crazy knives that don't make any sense. The vast majority of what I use a knife for can be accomplished with this. I carry other things because I like to, because I think it's cool and fun, right? But I can do most of what I need to do with this. Not everything, but most, right? If I need to chop a pineapple in half, it's not going to happen. I don't need to do that a lot, but if I needed to, I need a bigger blade. Anyways, let's do size comparisons. Any custom seals. By the way, hey, make sure that the notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. That way you don't miss my uploads or my weekend live stream giveaways. Lots of cool stuff. Up against the 8010 and my own Excalibur, yeah, it's pretty small. Let's go ahead and put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. It's still small. And then finally, let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, in this case, the Ritter Hogue and the Hogue Deca. Okay, how's the action? Is it snappy? Does it feel good? Yeah, it does. It actually feels... It's more powerful than it has any business being, right? That's cool. I mean, I still want that to be the case there. I want it to deploy, readily. I want it to feel snappy. I don't want it to feel sluggish. I would venture to guess that just like, your Microtech OTF, really any OTFs, the best type of lubricant to put in there is going to be REM oil. A lot of people ask me, like, can I put, my break-free CLP or what? Don't do that. I've never used anything but REM oil in an OTF. And all of my OTFs, even the Hera 2, which had some deployment issues when I got it, have ended up functioning perfectly over time. So that will maintain your, your action and stuff like that. But yeah, it's super convenient. It doesn't take much force. I think the switch is pronounced enough. I can get a hold of it. It feels good, and it's cool, right? I mean, I can even use my index finger to deploy this. It takes a little bit more with the index finger, but I can do it. But yeah, it feels snappy, feels good, and it never failed. It never failed to deploy, not once, so that's cool. Blade play is also very minimal, just a little bit. It's about 1/20th of what I experience with the Benchmade Infidel. I just love getting those little jabs in there, here or there. Some people who own the Infidel get really upset about that. If you enjoy that knife, it's fine. It's just very, floppy, right? Yeah, the action's good. It's exactly what you'd want it to be. Let's do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It is not thick. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. That's the best thing about this knife, is that it is stupidly easy to carry. It is a ridiculously easy to carry thing. I prefer, even over for people who are like ultra minimalist and they're like, I've never, needed anything more than like a simple, utility knife box cutter, the folding ones. I think this is even more compact than that. It's obviously substantially more expensive, which I am certain that people will, aggressively type over and over and over again in the comments, right? But yeah, it is very, very easy to carry, right? Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'll get out my tools. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. T8, I believe, and Hope? Yeah, T8. So we've got 4 of them, and that's it. You gain access to the internals, and then you'll have some screws underneath holding in that pocket clip. I don't think we need to do the blade stock thickness measurement because it's a utility blade. Okay, meat and potatoes time. This is just cool. And I don't know how they do this on, the aluminum frame, which, oh wait, we didn't weigh it. We have to weigh it. That's crazy. Aluminum and some steel, and I think the clip is actually titanium. You'll have a couple of parts internally with the chassis that are going to be steel. I'm sure the magnet will still enjoy some parts of this. Yeah, some internal chassis parts in there. I'm going to guess this weighs maybe 2.5. No, it weighs 3.5? That's crazy. Well, that's fine. It's still pretty close. 1/2 ounce to ultra lightweight. It's just heavier than I thought it would be. All right. Meat and potatoes time. The cool factor on this guy is off the charts. And yes, you can get, once again, you can get inexpensive Chinese aluminum framed OTF utility knives for way less. You can. But this is the actual Chaves one, and it is made in the United States, right? The pocket clip is gaudy. Yeah, people have been saying that about Chaves for a long time. You either love the clip or you don't, and that's just the way that it is. I am slightly disappointed, unless I didn't dig deep enough in the box, which I will go ahead and do. I am slightly disappointed that they didn't send, like they do with the full-size, the Chaves, a lot of the Riot ones, right? They send you an extra pocket clip that's essentially the same shape, but without the skull, right? They should have done that here. They should have. I couldn't imagine that it would cost very much to do that. I think that should have absolutely been included. And I really wish that there was because this, yeah, you can just put it in your other pocket. It's not that big of a deal, right? If you're left-handed, it's like, okay, the knife comes out of your pocket upside down, flip it over and go, right? Still would have been nice if we could have worked in some way to mount the clip so that it is optimal for left-handed people, but it's not that big of a deal. I bet left-handed people say, I don't really care about that. I'll just flip it upside down, right? I like how we've got the Chaves logo right here on this, like the quick change system. I think that's really cool. This all feels very solid, and I believe this part is steel. I'm going to pull the blade out here real quick and just check with the magnet and see. But I believe that that's all steel. Yes, it is. That would make, I feel like that titanium would be the wrong thing to use for this, but I'm sure that this will not fit every single type of razor blade. Many of you know way more about all the variations of utility blades that there are out there, but I'm guessing, considering this is made in the United States, it's going to fit a lot of the stuff that you would commonly see, which is great. You can put anywhere from basic bottom barrel stuff in there all the way up to, I know that there's a lot of companies that make like super premium long lasting blades as well, right? So you can make this whatever you want it to be. That is essentially the gist of it here, right? It's just a really cool, it's an idea that's not unique to Chaves, but it's one that is made here in the United States and has really good tolerances and does function insanely well. This is about as convenient as it gets as far as getting your knife out and making a cut and putting it away and being able to do it without really having to be concerned with what you do to the edge. Oops, I ran into a staple. Who cares? Kick the blade out and put another one in, right? Yeah, that's always been something you can do with a $10 utility knife from Home Depot, right? Or whatever you paid for the Chinese version of this. Sure. Yeah. But for me, I personally would take pride in the fact that I did, purchase this from Chaves. I'm not saying you have to think like me. It's your money. You can make whatever purchases you want. I own tons of Chinese knives, right? Tons of knives that are made in China that are essentially less expensive versions of other knives, not clones or counterfeits, but they're essentially the same idea. And I totally get it, right? But yeah, this is the only one of these that I would consider buying. I would want the Chaves one, and I might still. It's just stupidly convenient, and it's cool. I like that they went ahead and made it in the USA. I think that's neat, right? That's pretty much it. There's not really anything else to talk about here. Ergonomically, it's about what you'd expect, right? This isn't a knife that you're going to need an ultra, mega, super comfy, secure grip on because you're not going to be using it hard, right? Yeah, you could take, maybe, you could take it up and this could be your dedicated roofing knife. You could. That's kind of I would use a much less expensive overall knife for that, but you could do that and it'd probably survive. But I'm not going to be, this isn't, it's not a freaking Cold Steel 8010, right? So I don't really care too much about the ergonomic lines. Pocket clip, pretty easy in and out of the pocket. It carries well. It's super convenient. And I didn't ever forget that it was in my pocket. It just doesn't take up a lot of room. What is the final price tag? It's very expensive. It's $250. Now, whoops. The price tag is a lot, right? Now, there's always going to be people out there going, that shouldn't cost more than $20, right? And those people have no idea what they're saying. They don't know the difference between something that's manufactured in China and something that is truly manufactured in the USA and what it actually costs to do that. They don't know. They're just yelling. But for people who do know, I bet you're probably in the same boat as me and thinking, okay, why is it, I mean, still though, $250. You can get a Microtech OTF with an actual blade, like with an actual premium blade for $300. Heck, you can get a Kershaw Livewire, a full-size USA-made, mostly, it's like 95% USA-made, OTF with a MagnaCut blade and aluminum frame. Those are $220, maybe $250, right? Why is the Chub $250? It shouldn't be. I think that I could accept $150. I don't know where the extra $100 is coming from, right? I mean, you could say, well, the pocket clip's titanium. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. Like, I like it a lot. And honestly, I'm still considering overpaying for it. But like, what? I mean, you know, like maybe if a fat little S90V blade came out of there, okay, maybe. Yeah, maybe. But it's not. Like, I mean, it's just the aluminum frame and you got the chassis, right? And yeah, that's not, you know, inexpensive to machine. But there's also no, there's no blade. Like, it's just the utility end of it. You know, the utility blade thing. So, I don't know why they want $250 for it, right? I think $150 would have been far more reasonable. So, I think it's just marked up a lot. Yeah. Do I recommend this? Well, no, unless you are like a super, like, huge Chaves enthusiast, and you and you're like, oh my gosh, the fact that it's made in the USA is even bigger. Like, take my money, I'll happily overpay for it. Which, let me put my hand in the air, that's pretty much me. I am a huge Chaves fan. I like the skull clip, and I love it when something's made in the USA. And even being aware that this is probably at least $100 overpriced. Again, admittedly, I don't know exactly what it costs to make, but I know it can't be super cheap. I probably would. But do I recommend that people do? No, I think it's kind of crazy, right? I wish that, you know what? I kind of wish that Kershaw would take a crack at this. I wish that Kershaw would do an OTF utility blade made in the USA, so we could get one that's got a bit of a more reasonable price tag. It's still really cool, though, and for certain people, it will be a must-buy. I think for the vast majority of people, no, it's just crazy, right? And if you really want this experience, yes, as I have stated now 4 times, right? Please, if you go down in the comments and those people who, like, are just slobbering buffoons who, like, couldn't help themselves. This crazy price, like, please timestamp this so that they can go and see. Yeah, you're probably better off just buying the Chinese version that exists on a number of different websites. Not the clone or the counterfeit. I'm saying other, you know, Chinese OEMs that have made essentially the same idea. An OTF utility knife, right? And it's aluminum and it doesn't cost very much. Yeah, you're probably, if you don't care about the USA made thing, yeah, you're probably better off doing that, right? Please timestamp this so you can put that. I just know. Just doing this video, I know people are, oh, like, that's what people are, so the knee-jerk reaction to jump in to, like, they see a thumbnail and they're like, this guy's gonna try and sell. I gotta inform the consumers. I gotta do my duty and inform the consumers and save them from metal complex. God, goobers, you're goobers. Some of you, the vast majority of you, are really cool. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's my review of this knife. Thank you so much to eKnives for loaning this to me. Check out eKnives. The link for this guy will be at eKnives down in the description. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.